Okay, my name is Mary Reece, and I work for Media Saturn Holding, which is the holding company of MediaMarkt and Saturn, which many of you probably know. I've worked in the company for 9 years. I started in 1999 as an English trainer. Due to our rapid expansion, English became more and more important, and they were looking for people who could teach English, and the staff really had a high need for English, language competencies. I was hired, and things grew. Things snowballed, in fact. In the end, we ended up being 3 trainers teaching English full-time to the staff, and that was not enough. We had a lot of people who were traveling, who couldn't attend regular classes, who needed English but couldn't take advantage of the things that we offered. So we started looking for online alternatives, and that's how we came to digital publishing. We actually started working with digital publishing in 2000. We had a pilot project that, to be very honest, bombed. I think I and the other trainer were not really prepared for online learning, and at that time digital publishing offered only CD-ROMs. They weren't doing the web-based training yet. And so we gave our staff some CD-ROMs, told them to do the assignments and to come back at the end of the month. And of course nobody did it, and they forgot it, and the CDs got dusty in the drawer.
So what was your imagination of online learning when you said it was actually bump? So your understanding must have been something totally different than receiving CDs from digital publishing.
At the time, I think my understanding was a little naive. I didn't really have any expectations. I hadn't really thought it through. And my expectations, I think, were a little bit unrealistic on what the people who were traveling about. They were visiting our stores, setting up IT systems, things like that, about the time and the capacity they realistically had. Very often they were working until 10 o'clock at night, and then to expect them to go back into their hotel room and work on a CD-ROM and to have a certain number of assignments finished by the end of the month was probably unrealistic.
So what were the reasons why you considered online learning?
The main reason was the flexibility. As I said, we offered weekly classes, we offered workshops, we offered all sorts of things for our people, and we had a large group of people who couldn't take advantage of it, a target group that we weren't reaching. And those are the people who were too busy for English yet needed English, and we had to take care of these people somehow. And that's why we picked up the thread again in 2005, and wanted to reintroduce online learning. We were a little bit better prepared. We did a little bit more research about what would be expected of us from the HR department, what could be realistically expected of the participants, and of course the whole field had changed because digital publishing was now able to offer web-based training instead of the CD-ROM. So we got in contact with digital publishing again because from 2000 the contact was good. We had a positive impression, but it just didn't work. And James Shepard came up and did train the trainer and reintroduced the whole thing again to us. We decided that was something we could probably go with.
So what were your requirements? What were your needs, actually? To be a little bit more precise, you just said you knew better what you want. If you be then in 2000.
Yeah.
So if you could be more precise, what did you want?
Yeah.
What were your goals? Just try to be as precise as possible when you talk to the HR department.
Yeah. Our goals were to provide a solution for people who weren't taking advantage of English. To be very honest, I would prefer people to come to our live courses, people to come to the weekly courses, because in business it's all about communication. We're not really there to teach people to speak English perfectly. Our main thing is that they can communicate, that they can get across. We want people to reduce their inhibitions and to speak with their partner. And once they start speaking, then everything's a lot easier. And that is, of course, then the big downside of online courses, that people don't have the face-to-face contact, that they cannot speak. And so, I'm sorry, I've lost track. Precise, what did we want? We want people to come to the regular courses. We want people to speak. But we are also realistic enough to realize that people who are traveling 4 days out of 5 days, they cannot do that. So we wanted to offer them something that they could use, that they would have something to develop their language skills. And the combination of the blended learning with the online learning and then the workshops was a good alternative for people who otherwise wouldn't have any language training at all. So.